Those of you with a keen eye may have noticed that although I held up some paper when I read Thich Nhat Hanh's meditation on paper, I didn't actually read it from paper. In fact, I read it on an electronic device with a surface that allows me to not only read from it, but also alter it and write on it with my bare finger. You know it as a touchscreen. And just like the wonder that is hidden in any sheet of paper, there are some wondrous stories and history encased in this touchscreen. Some of it is heartwarming. Some of it is violent. Much of it is incredible. It is awful and awesome. To start the story, I will say that what contains this touchscreen was handed down to me by a colleague who didn't need it anymore, but who also thought that it could still offer much use. And though it was cutting edge not that long ago, it's been around for enough years to be a vintage device. Such that, to quote Professor Indiana Jones, it belongs in a museum. Nonetheless, it has been very handy to me. And this gift and the story behind it, including my colleague, all of them are in this touchscreen. I see them every day. My colleague's gift has allowed me to communicate with countless congregants, other colleagues, other friends. So they too are in this touchscreen. I've read a few sermons on this touchscreen, as well as other words of wisdom from ancient traditions, all of them through this glass. This screen holds sacred spirit. But let us dig a bit deeper. What are the physical parts that are in it? Well, there are quite a few key minerals in this. And this screen that is so central to our shared moment of worship this morning. Some may be very familiar to you. The glass that forms its base is, like any other glass that you know, mainly from a quartz-like source, like the kind of sand that you might stroll on during some of our nicer summers around Lake Ontario. This glass also usually includes some kind of lime or perhaps soda ash, which help melt that sand at a reasonable temperature. Otherwise, it would require something closer to the surface of the sun or a bolt of lightning. So the insights to make apparently opaque sand into clear glass, and the wisdom to mix it with catalysts so that it could feasibly be melted by us, the technology, took years to develop, and the effort of countless people to bring it together in ceramic kilns. All of that effort and thought are also in this screen that I'm reading from now. But let us dig a bit deeper, because the stuff that gives it that additional magic includes things like the element indium, which is a bit harder to get than the quartz-rich silica sand in ordinary glass. And even though it's relatively abundant on our planet, the places where it's found and the methods to extract it make it scarce enough that it is sometimes called a rare element. And the story here gets complicated because mining is no simple enterprise. Sure, the basic idea is to dig stuff out of the ground. But if we dig deeper, we'll be reminded that where the stuff is dug out from and who digs it can often involve some level of controversy. Perhaps because of power imbalances among people who own the land, or who want to own the land, or who want to have some more say on how that land will be used, as well as the other things and the beings that are on it. The bulk of the world's indium comes from China, along with respectable amounts coming from a handful of other countries, including Canada. Some of it comes from mines in British Columbia and New Brunswick. Now, I'm not entirely sure which mines or which countries the indium in my touchscreen comes from, but I suspect that it didn't all come without some measure of hard labor. Perhaps harder labor than what the people doing it were willing to do. And I find it difficult to imagine that it comes without at least some level of dispute. Lopsided power, sweat, tears, probably even blood. Those are also in this screen. And if we dig even deeper, below the crust, where the indium is mined, there is a hot silicate mantle, not unlike some of the stuff in the glass in the touch screen. And deeper yet into the center of the earth, a hot ball of iron and nickel. That is the stuff that we stand on. All of these, the iron, the nickel, the silicon, the indium, the sodium in the soda, the calcium in the lime, the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in my fingers as I swipe the screen to read another line. All of these hold even more incredible power and common bonds. As I dig deeper, I am amazed at how all these elements started out as hydrogen and were then crafted painstakingly over billions of years in the insides of stars. As the great power of the great weight of billions of tons of other hydrogen atoms squished into each other to form helium and bright light and heat, like the one we see from our own star. Incredible energy and power, giving life to innumerable stars, many of which are now dead. I stand in great awe and gratitude as the lives of many of these stars were extended once they ran out of hydrogen, and the weight of the lingering helium brought it further together to make heavier things. Magnesium, carbon, oxygen, calcium, iron, nickel, indium. And as the larger stars finally ran out of breath and weight, I stand with some mourning and celebration, thinking about some of those stars who died spectacularly in powerful supernova explosions. Their shockwaves further compressing heavier elements. The gold in your wedding bands, and the molybdenum in magnets and electronics that power up, I would have said, my voice across this space, but in the microphones that pick up this recording, and the other devices that are held in your pocket. That vitality and violence, with its wondrous and terrible power, those are in this touchscreen and in the skin that touches it. The force of gravity and time across ages, the vastness of space, that is all in this screen. The hands that touch it, the eyes that read it, the mouth that voices it, and the ears that hear it. The tremendous power is in me, and it is in you. As I see you, I hold you within me. And as you hear me, I am with you. As is time, as is space, as is everything. As we look out this window, some sunlight bounces off the glass on the screen and travels through the polymer in my spectacles, and it informs me. Our living, brightening star, which brings so much energy to plants and animals, reminds me of the wonder of the lives still around us. The elements it illuminates, they bring to mind the enduring power of lives of stars gone before. No longer bright, but living in everything we do. Finding new and innovative ways of transforming what has been handed down to us by those previous lives into something new and exciting. Recent ashes of stardust that are witness to a vibrant living universe that can behold itself. To think that we are that universe experiencing itself. My friends, in the short piece of time that is this month, we are called in this community to celebrate, mourn, and honor the life and death, the relationships that come from living on earth. We are called to center ourselves on what it means to be earth-centered, and the traditions that offer us some wisdom to deepen that relationship and to reflect upon its unfathomable richness. To dig deeper into the soul of our home and the roots that feed our soul. My friends, when we see each other and all that surrounds us, may you see the universe that is in all of you. May you see the time, the space, the power, everything that you are, that you have been, and that you can be. So may it be.